Welcome to 10,000 Things. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins,
And I'm Catherine Greenspan.
and we are two sisters writing and publishing. This show, every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, helps you learn the 10,000 things you need to know to write, publish, and promote a book. So tonight, we are going to be talking about how you, as a writer, can get help to finally write your book. There's a number of ways you can do so, and you should select the method that's best in sync with your personality and your goals. So, Catherine, do you want to start by talking about the first way that some writers can get help?
Sure, and these are in no particular order.
No.
But one really good way is to join a writing group.
Mm-hmm.
So
what does a writing group do or look like?
Well, a lot of times writing groups will all be sort of on the same theme, like short stories, and they'll gather once a month and share their short stories, critique them. The writing group writes its own rules. So if it's really just showing up and sharing, then that's what the group does. Or if it's critiquing, that's what the group does.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes writing groups don't have to be all the same genre or format. Some people, I think that all of the writing groups I've been in the last several years, there've always been the majority of people are working on memoir.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. And so if they're in a group and they need help and they're working on a memoir, what's the challenge?
Well, it isn't so much that people need help. I don't think people join writing groups for help so much as to be in the community of other writers for support and accountability.
Uh-huh.
And if you are in a writing group and the objective is we show up once a month or once a week and share, then you're going to be producing work.
I love that. That's wonderful because writing is such a solitary pursuit. So when you have a group, it's like you have that camaraderie and sort of support for the highs and the lows of the writing life. That's awesome.
Right. And you just conducted an interview with one of our past short story writers, and he had some ideas, right?
Yeah, Michael Colonese. Please watch Writer Talks, the episode I just did with Michael Colonese. He is an award-winning novelist, poet, retired university professor. He has a PhD in American literature, and he's just an all-around profound person, but real. And he talked so much about how writers never retire. Writers just write. And he and his wife had a printing press together for a long time. And so he was obviously in a university setting. His spouse is a writer, Robin Green. And then he's always surrounded by people who are writing. And then participating in contests like ours that he won twice, and also just being in different writing arenas showcasing his work. So that organically created a writing community for him, especially in the university campus and his press. So some people just make their career of it, and that's their help. They're just constantly nourished by this writing community. Yeah. Another example of that I witnessed when I was first starting off as a novelist, I joined the Romance Writers of America. And I would go to the monthly meetings for the Metro Detroit chapter. And there were at least 25, 35 women every month, really determined. It was an awesome experience. And the beauty of that group in terms of getting help, the theme of tonight's show, is that they would support you when you got rejection letters. They would give you guidance on what editors were acquiring what types of work at what publishing houses. They would give advice and referrals to different literary agents to get published through. They would actually share their rejection letters and read them in the meetings and tell why your book was rejected or why your book was accepted and celebrated and why it made this much money or not. And it was like a tremendous learning experience from this network of writers. In addition, there were small groups, critique groups that met regularly. They would all exchange each other's work with exchange work with each other, and then critique and share in a group. So many people find value in having sort of a peer critique experience. So that's another way to get help. Join an organization and participate in a smaller group setting of critiquing and sharing.
Right. And I believe different genres. I remember the Society for SCBWI, Society for Writers of Children's Books and Illustrators. They also have the same types of things.
Oh.
And I'm guessing now that everything is online, it's easier than ever to get involved and to find these. At the beginning of the year, I went to a meetup group, a local meetup group, and it was always really interesting and dynamic because you never knew who was going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of, but everybody would bring like 10 copies of their thing that they were going to read. And that was interesting because I think in a traditional writing group, it's the same, the people and it's the same people, but in a meetup, which is publicly broadcast, who knows who can come. And that, but I also think that it's really, really important when you do join a critique group or a writing group is to be clear on your boundaries and your reason for being there. Because if you go and there are 9 other people and they all tell you 10 different things about your work, you need to be comfortable enough to say, this is my work and that, thank you for all the information, but I'm going to pick and choose what I take.
Yeah, that's a great point. Another thing is to be protective of your intellectual property because it's your idea. And if you don't trust or know the people that are in the critique group, you're literally giving away your work. And I would be very cautious of that. So be with people that you trust and that you really vibe with, because you want to make sure everybody has your best interest at heart.
But also, if we refer back to our conversation a few weeks ago with Eric Williams, he said that by virtue of creation, you own it. So you're not really giving away your ideas, you're sharing them, but you own the copyright because you created them.
Right. Very important. And you should, thank you for clarifying that. So what's another way that people can get help with their writing?
Well, help and support. One way you can do that is to get an MFA.
Oh, right. So a few weeks ago, I interviewed Don Noel. He just turned 90 and he's still writing strong. And when he was 80, he got a master's in fine arts, an MFA, which is like the degree for writers. And so it just shows it's never too late. And when you're obviously in a Masters of Fine Arts program, you're going to be surrounded by other writers. You're going to be immersed in the learning about technique and style and everything. So going back to school is an excellent way to get support for your writing endeavors.
And you're never too old to go back to school.
No, I just love, he was so awesome. And plus he's a retired journalist. So we just had a ball talking about newspapers and media and journalism. Really fun. Please check out Writer Talks here on the channel. You will really enjoy these writers. They read their poetry, they read their short stories, they talk about writing life. It's awesome.
So another way is to go ahead.
Work with a book coach.
Oh, work with a book coach. Yeah, work with a coach.
Yeah. So we have a book that's on Amazon right now. It's called A Young Man on the Front Line, Lessons of War by Elaine Makas Phd. Dr. Makas wrote her book during the book coaching program that I do. And we're about to start up in January for another 6-month group book coaching experience. Super excited because she applied everything I teach, and I provide the structure, the schedule, the mindset, the mechanics, all the things that you need that might feel overwhelming when you embark on a writing project and you just don't know where to start. You feel confused, you have all these ideas popping, and then you sit down to write and it just goes blank. So when you're in a coaching program, or if you work with a coach, you establish a schedule, you find structure, you learn how to outline a book, you decide how you're going to publish your book, you figure out how you're going to promote the book while you're writing it. And so it really gives you that, just like if you're working out and you want to get fit fast, the most direct route to fitness, the fastest way to do it is to work with a trainer. So working with a book coach is the same. They give you the how-to, they guide you, they inspire you, they push you. And it's the same thing. So I recommend that you find a coach that you love. I remember about a year ago, I met this young man who wrote a book at the Detroit Writing Room. He had a book signing, and he was talking about his book coach and how his book coach made him follow a schedule every morning, writing X number of hours to get the book done and everything he needed to know. And he credited the coach with enabling him to finish the book and publish it and then have a book party at the Detroit Writing Room.
That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that is also all those points you brought up. Even if you're just writing a short story or an essay, you've got to have some underlying structure, or
Mm-hmm.
or things just won't get done.
Mm-hmm. When you say structure of time or structure of storytelling, or what do you mean?
Both.
Okay.
Structure of time. You asked Michael this afternoon when he wrote, and what did he say?
He said he didn't have a schedule, but now that he's retired, he might be able to have one. But a lot of times life demands our time and attention throughout the day or night, and therefore writers catch as catch can and write when we can. So
go ahead.
Well, he also said if he has the choice between doing two different things, he's going to choose writing. It was just such a great interview. But,
that's great.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh. Well, no. So not everybody has a schedule. Not everybody has the structure, and they still get it done. The beauty is if you work with a program, a coaching program, or some kind of course, it's going to keep you on a path, on a schedule, on a rhythm of writing. And also, very importantly, a coach or a program or a group can help you identify your best writing time. I call it your writing rhythm. So I know that my brain is absolutely its best when I'm in the morning. I had my coffee, green drink, yoga, meditation, and I start to write, boom, it's great. Or after a run or bike ride. And if I just ate a big meal, it's not so great, right? If I'm sleepy, forget about it. So you have to know what your writing rhythm is, but you might not stop to figure out what that is if you didn't have the guidance, support, help from a coach or from a group and of your peers who can make these recommendations for you.
So another part of structure is, if you feel like you never finish things, is to come up with a thought of, okay, what does finishing something actually mean? And what would you do after you finish it? So if you're working on a short story, you might say, well, I'm going to create some motivation for myself by going on submittable.com and searching for a contest to enter, or searching for a magazine that's looking for my topic. Or you might set up a medium.com account. Mm-hmm. Like, you can set up all of these little things so that you have an outlet for what you're trying to create. And that can be the prize for completing your story or your essay, is posting it on Medium or submitting it to a contest. Mm-hmm. And in fact, if you are at a loss for ideas, you could, for example, go to our website where we have monthly contests. This month we have erotica, holiday romance and 2020.
2020.
So 400 to 2,400 words on any one of those topics, or maybe you could combine them all. But just the 2020 story just has to have the word 2020 in the first paragraph. The erotica story just has to be an erotica story, and the holiday romance is your take on a holiday romance.
I love that. Thank you for that. And you know what? That's a perfect segue into online writing groups, because a friend of mine on LinkedIn, she's in a writing group, and she just shared some powerful information about a really excellent deal on marketing. So if you're in a group, they can help you learn tips and tricks that can help you promote, write, schedule, finance your endeavors. It's really cool. And Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, there's so many writing groups and communities or hashtags that you can connect with and follow, and Twitter as well, and learn from other writers virtually, which is the way we're doing things now anyway. So there's so many ways that you don't have to go it alone as a writer. And it's, again, it's a solitary pursuit. That's the nature of writing, but it's really awesome when you can connect with other writers and learn from them and just get that moral support and that cheering team to keep you going, because sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes you want to give up. You feel like you've been writing on a certain thing for a long time, even years. You just need somebody to help give you that push, like, you can do it, you can do it. Catherine and I encourage each other all the time. She's like, fingers to the keyboard, fingers to the keyboard. Because that's the only way the writing is going to get done. You just have to do it. So
there's actually a hashtag on Twitter. It's called hashtag 5 a.m. Writers Club, because a lot of times we don't have extra time in the day. So a lot of writers are like, okay, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. and write. And that's the 5 a.m. Writers Club on Twitter.
I love it. That's really cool.
So there are things, and that doesn't obviously cost any money, but there are lots of things out there. So if you're needing motivation and guidance, it's out there. You just have to find it, but define it for yourself, and you'll find it.
I love that. So the message tonight on 10,000 Things is, writers are lonely by nature of what we do. When we're sitting here with pen to paper or fingers on the keyboard, it's just us and our words. However, joining some type of support group, networking group, or getting guidance, or being really exhausted like Catherine is, and I'm pretty tired too, is really, really a really important measure you should take to nurture a community that you're part of, so that you can get that support, encouragement, cheering section, learning environment that can really, really enhance and enrich your life and your experience as a writer. So we always say teamwork makes the dream work. So a team of like-minded writers can absolutely be make or break you. Can really, really help you.
And joining a writing group, if it's not the right fit, or if it changes, or the dynamic is off, keep looking, because there are tons of them out there.
Yeah.
I know that there are a couple of Facebook groups for writers building community, but I'm not a part of them. I like smaller groups. So, but find, you can go searching for what works for you.
Yeah. You know what we forgot to mention is an online writing co-working space, which we actually have, the Two Sisters Writing Club, where we open up 3 hours each week online for writers to come together and write virtually. So we all show up on Zoom, right? And then we have some motivational chat and answer any questions about writing. And then we all mute and take off the video, And then we write for 30 minutes and then we reconnect, chat for a minute. It's like you're in this community of writers. And then we get silent and turn off the video and write for another 30 minutes. And then we connect back. So what it does is it makes you accountable. It gives you encouragement because you're with other writers and you are getting the work done. So there's all kinds of online writing groups you can participate with. Do that wherever you are. And it can be anywhere. So,
right. And when you sign up for our writing club, you put it on you put it in your calendar. 6:00 Pacific, Monday nights. That's where I am. I'm at the club.
Yes.
And one of our members said it's like study hall with your friends.
Yeah. And one woman, Sakina Tanzel, she came diligently for almost a whole year and she wrote her book and she knew she needed accountability and she published her book in October. So she made it happen because she made that commitment to herself to come to the club. And you can do it with any online writing group. So that's yet another, the bonus one tonight on how you can get help and support to get your writing done.
And if we forgot anything, please put it in the comments.
Yes. How do you find support and help for your writing? How do you get through those tough moments when you just want to give up? How do you keep pushing through? How do you stay the course even though life seems to be throwing all kinds of obstacles at you when you're trying to write? So we'd love to hear what you're going through. Share, please.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another episode of 10,000 Things. Catherine and I are so grateful that you tune in every week and learn from us because we just published our 27th book and we have 4 more coming down the pipeline over the next few months. So thank you for all of your support. And Catherine, do you have any final words?
No, just keep writing. I think you asked Michael Colonnese tonight what his advice was, and I think it's really important. Keep going.
Yes. Even if it seems like it's taking forever to finish your
Even
book.
if you're getting rejections.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Keep the dream. All right. Well, I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins.
And I'm Catherine Greenspan.
And we are 2 sisters writing and publishing. Thank you for joining us tonight on 10,000 Things, everything you need to know to write and publish and promote your book. If you're getting value out of this program, please do like, share, subscribe, comment, and click the notification bell so you know every time we go live or upload a new video. Meanwhile, happy writing and happy reading. We'll see you next time.